Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today, on this day before I leave for Joe Fest, I was lucky enough to get it in from Pulse. Number 19, G.I. Joe Classified Ferret, along with the Ferret Scout. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this. I know a few people have already done the review, but hey, you know what? I got it in. I figured, why wait? Because I'll probably have stuff when I get back from Joe Fest to do some reviews. So let's take a look at this. We're going to see what's in this box, see how it goes together. So this might be a little bit of a long video, but you'll see how everything goes. We'll take a look at the Ferret Scout, see how she compares to the Valkyries. And we'll also take a look at the original Ferret and exactly how close they came to the original. So here we go. Some wonderful artwork, as you can see. You can see the cannon on the side here. You can see the guns up here. And then obviously shows her with her pistol out. I love this look. This really gives you the feel of the 1980s, walking into the store and seeing a vehicle along with the figure sitting right there. As I mentioned, number 19, and there's a QR code to hell. That's right, it leads you to absolutely nowhere. And then you have her stats. On the side here, you have her look, and this is without her helmet on. And on the back, they're going to show you the driver, the ferret, and a few little of the things that it does. So anyway, let's get into this big beefy box, see how this ferret is. Let's do some shots with it, see how it is, and hopefully this is worth the price point and the wait that we've had. But if you do like this type of stuff, if you like the G.I. Joe content that I'm giving you, and I'm giving you a lot of classified stuff, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a G.I. Joe vehicle or figure. Let's take a look at this. All right, so quickly before we get started and get everything out, this is how it comes. So you have the 4 wheels that are not attached. You can see the handlebars aren't attached. So we're going to have to clip this off. Figure is still in the casing like normal. You can see they got a knife, 2 sidearms, and the helmet. And then we get the box that you guys know my feelings on this. Number 19, Cobra Ferret. Now it's upside down. Now it's still upside down. But I'm going to assume everything that is supposed to go on this, the secondary gun, this, the handlebars and different things like that are going to be in here. But we'll get all that open, and there's no reason to sit there and watch. Also, some instructions. All right, so we got it open. This is how everything's going to look. It does not look like these will be interchangeable with the Vamp or the Stinger. So if you want to do a lowrider, I don't think you're going to be able to. Here are the instructions, beginning with the ferret and the driver, just a little picture. So it's showing you the rack that's going to go on the back, handlebars. You have a winch with a push bar that's going to go right on the front here. Tells you which way the actual tires go, so we'll make sure we get that. And then cannon, along with the little peg that holds it on, along with the rockets and the extenders. So if you don't want to have those on, you can actually take that off and maybe use it as a regular 4-wheeler, considering the helmet that she has is very 4-wheeler-like, okay? Then on the back is just showing you how the helmet goes on. Again, people probably get mad, but, you know, we've heard it all before. You know, people get mad about everything. They have to kind of tell you. So let's quickly take a look at this here. All right, so it says wheels, that this is the wrong way. This is the proper way. So it should make a V when you're looking at it. So you want to make sure that when you're popping them on, it makes that V. And these things are just going to snap right on. Now, are they going to come off all that easy? I don't know, all right? I don't know. I know there's a lot of people that want to pop these on and then they want to be able to take things off. Well, I can't tell you, and I'm not about to be the one to decide or look at it and see if that's going to be something possible. All right. So wheels are on. Quickly looking at the wheels, you can see they are flexible. So they are nice rubber wheels. They're not going to make a lot of noise. But those were rubber wheels also. All right. And here we're going to have the gun, so we can just kind of open this up so we can get this out of the way. This is once again supposed to keep it nice and straight. Looking at this, it is flexible. Now, as long as it stays straight, I don't care how flexible it actually is. As long as it stays straight, we are good. And so far, that actually looks pretty good. All right. So here we have the handlebars. And there you go, a little bit of a display. What is that display here? I mean, it almost looks like that's supposed to be a HISS tank, but I don't know why you'd have a HISS tank in your sights there. But pretty cool looking there. And then you have what is supposed to be the front light for it. And you even got like a light so at night people can see where you're at. So this bad boy is just going to pop right on in. It is going to turn, and as you can see, the wheels, just like the ramp, do not turn. Again, that will bother a lot of people, but hey, it's just kind of what you get sometimes. And if it bothers you that much, guess what? You don't have to buy it. It's that simple. All right, so here is the front push bar. Actually, this is the front push bar. I'm not sure where that thing goes. So, what am I missing here? This goes into here. Like, oh, this goes upside down. That's going to go, I guess, like that. All right, so we start with the hook. Goes on the bottom. It's meant to be a winch, as you can see, but it is not a working winch. This thing's just going to plop right in here and snaps in. Just as easy as any of that gridiron stuff that I did. So here you have a guard on the front, as you can see. You got a what looks like a working winch. Unfortunately, there's not, and it definitely would have been cool if they would have done that, but again, you're only going to get so much. Here we have for the rockets. Now looking at this, the longer part is what's going to stick out, and the detail part goes upward. So I'm going to pop this right in here. Man, that is a tight fit. But it's good because then you really don't have to worry about it popping off. So it might not, maybe it's not supposed to go in all the way. If you are, yeah, that is supposed to go in all the way. So you're going to want to put some gloves on or something to push that in all the way, because all these little pieces are really hurtful on the palms. Then you got your your rockets that go both ways. All right, that's always been an issue. Kids never knew which way they were supposed to go, and they actually made this a perfect double kicktail, I guess you could say. That's what we call them in skateboarding. And looking at them here, again, they are pliable, flexible, but it looks like they're going to stay straight, which is something we've just really been asking for. And these things, I mean, you can really take this out and not worry about those things coming off. And so here we have the hook that is going to, I didn't put that on, huh? It's showing that we're supposed to put this on, but that actually came on. So it's kind of a step that they decided to do. All right, so the hook actually goes down like this. You're going to plug this on here. And then it actually goes on the back. But technically, you could put it on any of the ones you want. And it stays perfectly fine. So it's going to just sit there perfectly fine. You can aim it. You can move it around. So that's pretty cool. All right, so now let's take a look at this thing and see what we have. And I'm excited to get into this because we got another small vehicle. It's not going to take up much room if that's what you're worried about. So, all right. So, I love the fact that the decals are already on. I do not like putting decals on. I understand why my dad hated it so much. So there you have the ATV, the Semper Fidelis. Again, I know it's a Marine thing, but this is actually something that was done a long time ago in the G.I. Joe lore. So I think these actual rims look nicer than what we got on the Vamp over here. I know someone had said that, hey, you know what, that's more what you would want in a real military vehicle. But, so PNR 23, Cobra ATV. You have the dark blue that's very much like the Cobra. And they're all going to be the same as you saw me put them on. You have a nice little engine there. You have the Cobra XP1000. And then I will read this just like everyone else has read it so many times already. And I'm going to try and read it through. Maybe I won't read it because I can't see that well. Missile launch information. Before operation, this vehicle's advanced weapons system. Be sure to pledge loyalty to Cobra. Refer to the HUD display for launching instructions. So, I know I read that before on a live stream, and before anyone says, well, it's easy for me to read, I am trying to see it on my phone, and the writing is still really small. So, all right. So, you have the nice little detail here. Runs completely around. It is really nice and smooth. We already took a look at this. This is going to move back and forth, so you can articulate it there. You have your weapon system. And just a little bit of detail, all red. Now, something like this would have looked nice if they would have put a little bit of black paint, but as we've discussed before, anytime you touch it, it does cost money. And looking at that, it looks like they actually used a metal pin to run through that. So the gun can shoot up and kind of shoot down into the bar, but you can rotate it in a good amount. And as you can see, it does have 2 ports for blast effects. If you get some small little bungee cords, you can kind of just strap things to this, which I think is a nice little idea. You have the no step, and it's telling you where not to step. Again, I really do like this. And then you have the bar, so if they're on a skateboard or something, you can grab onto the bar, but you can strap other things to it, obviously. And then you have the engine exhaust, where you even have some ports for some blast effects. And I think some of those blast effects that come with the steel core, the Valkyries, and a few other figures, it might actually work pretty well, making it look like it's just kind of exploding out as you're taking off. Then you have your rear lights, and on the side, the exact same thing, other than no directions. Looking at the gun here, nice detail, but unfortunately, without a little bit of paint, it just looks very bland, but it is what we had back in the day. So let's take a look at this. Is there anything on the bottom? Nothing on the bottom, so no details on the bottom. Let's quickly compare it to the Ferret, and it looks like, nope, see, I did not put this on the wrong side. They decided that they were going to have it over on this side. Now, technically, you can put it on either side. It's not a big deal. So if you are someone who is going to get upset about it, and we know there are people that get really upset when things aren't the exact same, there you go. We can plug it over on that side. All right, so quickly, comparing these two. Now on the front, I do like the fact that this was fixed. This always just kind of sat there exposed. Now there are some 3D printed parts on this, including the piece. So I'm sorry. So this was supposed to, yeah. So when you turn one thing, the 3D printed part I don't think works all that well. The toleration is improper. So when you were to turn the handlebars, I believe if you turn the handlebars, this was supposed to turn. This is really tight because I had to use 3D printed parts. No big deal. But looking at the gun, you have a very similar gun all the way to the top. You can see they even molded it to look the exact same. I'm glad that they did remove the middle piece here that holds it together, but you can tell it is the same. And looking further back, you can see it did have a light on it. It had handlebars. I like that they raised this. It makes it look better. It's just a little bit better of a design. Looking from the side, you have the rockets that are very similar. Now these are not exactly the exact same. Unlike this, you can see where the engine sits. This here, it is molded on. I'll be honest, the way this sets up, this actually looks a little bit better, but hey, they're toys. Right, Ryan? We're talking about toys. So even looking where the missiles launch, they recreated that pretty well. The side cannon, it's similar. You can see where it's recognizable, but I would say this is pretty much completely redone. Now, there's nothing on the back here, which I'm perfectly fine with. I thought that there was a piece that connects from here to here. I completely forgot about it till I was watching the show, so I am missing that piece. And you can even see where the gas can, or not the gas can, where the gas gauge goes, not the gas gauge, the gas, whatever it is, you know, where you pump the gas. Now, I don't think that the back piece, so this does not come off. Now, this was a missed opportunity to have this come off just like this did. Now, this didn't hold very much, especially considering we didn't get many pistols, but you could have opened this up here, so we could have gotten a few little things out of there. All the way to the exhaust, which is meant to look very, very similar. Now, someone may say, hey, that's just what an ATV looks like. I don't know, but I'm assuming probably. All right. The other thing that I did notice when I was taking it out is, once again, we have shocks. Now, I know some people say, well, what's the use of shocks if it doesn't turn and it crashes into this? Well, use your imagination. So, looking at this, it has nice shocks. All right. Let's quickly take a look at the figure, and we'll compare it to my female Televiper and one of my Velks. All right. So, quickly. She starts off having a new vest here, which from what I understand is not removable without doing a pop and swap. So if you really wanted to heat the figure up, just hot water, tap hot water, no boiling water, pop this off, take this off, and then you can throw it on there. All right. She has the same holster here and the same holster over on her belt. The same gauntlets that they have, along with the armband. So, but what she does lose is that knife. And is there a place for the knife? They gave her a place on her boot for her knife. So quickly, let's look at this figure. We'll look at the articulation first. So she can kind of look up. She can look down. Neck does move back and forth to a point. Back and forth. T-pose. Without a problem. I'm not heating anything up, but again, it is in the 90s here in Michigan, so. All right. Wrist swivel. They have the diaphragm cut, and they can twist back and forth. Jean-Claude Van Damme is pretty good, along with the drop-down hips. I think you must know my feelings on the drop-down hips. They can eventually cause problems. Thigh swivel, double pinless knees, boot cut, ankle rockers. It is the same buck, same mold as what we got here with the Valkyries, and I have no problem with it because I think that the plastic tolerances seem to be a little bit better. All right, so trying to quickly look at this. I'm trying to see if I have a messed up eye or if that's how she's supposed to be. And I believe, it's hard to say looking through the phone, but you can see how great my hands are. But the eyes actually look good. All right, good eyebrows. Just a little bit of gray here adds such a touch. Just to make it look that much better. And then she has the mask, which really does fit for if someone was ATVing, four-wheeling, different things like that. Her vest is supposed to look more like it is an actual ATV vest. So you do have this protection, whether you fall off it. It's hopefully going to protect your ribs, your heart, anything like that. But the detail and the little paint goes so far. And again, here when you're looking at this, this thing is black, I believe. You have blue paint here, you get the white paint, and then you get the red Cobra logo. I think it looks good. Belt is just plain black. The holster there. Got the gauntlets that sit up here. She is a lefty, right? Oh, both hands articulate up and down, which is nice. Knee pads, just a little bit of paint. All that stuff really adds to it. Now I'm hoping this gray will probably be the driver's color, so hopefully the Stinger driver will come with it also. And then when you look at these boots, you can tell they've had a little bit of damage, which I do like. Now, if you look too closely, you realize they all have the same damage. Here's the helmet, and as you can see, there is a fang. Really reminds me of Serpentor as a kid, but it looks like it almost has like fang teeth maybe in the front. Same color scheme, and this is just going to pop right over. And as you can see how pliable it was, so I really do like the pliable helmets. They seem to work really well, as when they plug onto the heads, they tend to mold right to the head. They're not all out of shape like you would think. So that looks good there. We got the pistols. All right. Port for blast effects. So here's a cross draw. Or is it supposed to go? I forget how this went before. I know. Okay, so there's the belt buckle. So it is a cross draw all the way behind her. And she has the holster there. And boom. All right. So I don't really need to show you guys once again how easily they stand. You can see there. This figure feels really nice. That holster is going to continue to fall. They all do. All right, so there you go. But let's get her mounted up. That's what she said. All right. So these things drive you nuts, especially when it's really hot out. They move around. All right, so I say so a lot. So I apologize. Did I just say so? I apologize. All right, so there you go. Easy enough to get her up just like that. Now, it almost seems like she sits up a little bit too high. Like this really should have been pushed back just a little bit. I guess you could always, we could bend the knees a little bit more. But I will say right away that is kind of disappointing. You can see just the distance is going to cause a problem. And you get her to lean forward. Then you got to make her look up. So I guess you can still work on that, make that work. Take this grunt, and if we can fit a figure, look at that. So figure fits perfectly on the back, no issues. Oddly enough, I did say this thing wouldn't fall off, and it did fall off in this course of doing this. All right, so there you go with that. Now the other thing that I forgot to mention, and they did talk about this in the live stream, was she has her pistols, which we all know about those, trigger fingers. They made it so this was meant to pop off, and then she can use it as a gun. So this really harkens back to the early waves with Roadblock. And I know everyone absolutely hated that. And I know that Krusty Old Crow doesn't like the fact that where is the ammunition can? But again, as Ryan Sweeney, Dreadnought Ryan says, we're talking about toys. Toys. We're talking about toys. Anyway, she stands up pretty easily. No problem here. And I think this is going to be really fun. Other than this, you need to get a little bit of sticky tack. Plug that thing on there and we should be good. All right. So you've seen the comparison to the OG Ferret. But you know, everyone's like, I can't believe you have that stuff. This is my original one. Obviously, the 3D parts aren't, and there's a few other things that have been added, including the missiles. That is my original Ferret from my childhood, believe it or not. But let's grab the ram cycle, and you see how the ram cycle fits in against it. And they look to be almost the exact same length. But when you go ahead and compare the two, and wow, now the missile looks a lot like cat dog. That's what I refer to these missiles as, the cat dog missile. And anyone that has kids or remembers cat dog remembers. But the fact that they're just warp a little bit definitely reminds me of cat dog. But there is the size comparison there. Let's do this, and then we will grab the vamp. Now, I did not bring up the hiss tank. If you want, you can watch videos on comparing the vamp to the hiss and the size. So, vamp is much wider, which is, you might imagine, this thing really doesn't take up a whole lot of space. It is a good size, and I think a pretty good price for the amount of plastic that you're getting with it. And then comparing it here, you can see if I have it all the way, it is almost half the size of the vamp. So I think the vamp is a really good size for a mid-sized vehicle. I think you get everything that you need. It's not too big, doesn't take up too much space. This thing actually fits pretty damn well. So, and there went my figures for Joe Fest. Anyway, there you go. That is your Ferret and Ferret Scout figure. I'm excited. Let's wrap this video up. It took less time than I really thought, but I want to get out and take a few shots before I get to wrap up and get ready for Joe Fest. All right, so there you have it. That is the Cobra Ferret and Ferret Scout. I am happy to get this in there, see how it is. Again, I think it's a good vehicle. I think it's the perfect size for what you're looking for a $55 price point. I believe they're 55, right? It has blast effects, or ports for blast effects. I don't have blast effects on both the exhaust and up here. So, I'd love to know if you're going to get this. Also, I know I've been working with a different angle here because they got a new table and it sits a little bit lower. Let me know in the comments if it's something you enjoy. I think it actually looks better. It's actually easier for me, but if it's something, if you're like, hey, I think the other videos look better, your angle, let me know and I will change the angle and bring it up a little bit or bring it down where you have a straight shot. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. But I got to say, this is the eve of Joe Fest, or eve of me to leave for Joe Fest. So if you're going to Joe Fest 2024, because I don't want someone watching this 2025 wondering where I'm at and I'm not there, I don't know if I'll be there. Or wondering even further off in the future. Come say hi to me. But use your YouTube name. Don't say, hey, I'm John, when you're Loki Wartooth. And I'm like, hey, I don't know who John is, but, oh, I know who Loki Wartooth is. This is the name I'm throwing out there. So there you go. Let me know what you guys think. I know they're all sold out. I'd wait. I think we're going to get some more. Don't spend crazy scalper prices. I do think that we're going to get more, just like the vamp has gone up a couple times in the past. So I'm going to get out of here. Like I mentioned before, the Instagram of Punk with Toys. Go over there. Hit that subscribe. There's 2 of them. You're going to want both, because one, you get pictures, one, you get more news and different things like that when I get something. Facebook group page, Punks with Toys, because once you join, you're a punk with toys. But you may be a punk, but you need to be a punk that answers 3 easy questions, or I'm not going to accept it. Too many people are trying to join. I don't need trolls. I don't need bots, different things like that. Monday Night Toy Ramblings, if you are so interested, every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I go live for about 3 to 3.5 hours. I won't be there this week because I'm going to Joe Fest and I'm going to be traveling home. This is me rambling on. That's why it's called Monday Night Toy Ramblings. I'm still holding the ferret. It's really cool. I like it. I'm happy with it. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Last but not least, as I always say, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I do drop a G.I. Joe classified video. Now I'm going to get out of here, like I've said 2 or 3 times already, but up here is going to be the review of the vamp because of the vehicle, and down here will be the classified playlist, which, in case you didn't know, I reviewed every single figure so far. Take care.